Howdy, folks. Here's the first video of this channel, and it has to do with the anti-police movement and the woke culture and the rampant crime we got going on. All three, which will probably be pretty regular subjects on this channel until this country comes to its senses. Now, this being my first video, I understand it's not of the best quality. I'm working to improve that. I know I need a better mic. If y'all have any suggestions, I'd appreciate it. But here we go. Let's get this party started. This story takes place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at Pitt University. I'm going to read you a little bit of an article from the Pitt newspaper up there. And then we'll delve into it. About 2 weeks ago, a female student was sexually assaulted in the stairwell of the Cathedral of Learning. The late afternoon attack, one of 3 sexual assaults Pitt has issued crime alerts for this academic year, sparked a protest of more than 100 students. A petition calling for greater security received thousands of signatures, was deleted after concerns among students after increased policing. Now, this is a pretty routine story. God forbid. Woman gets sexually assaulted. I don't know if she was raped or just sexually assaulted. Any of it's, unforgivable. Here's where it gets weird. Okay, right after that happened, WPXI, which I assume is a news or a television station in Pittsburgh, this is a written article from their news staff. It says, according to university police, a woman was sexually assaulted in the stairwell of the campus's Cathedral of Learning. The report said a man approached the woman, pushed her against a wall, and sexually assaulted her while he held her against it. The suspect is a college-age, thin black male with short curly hair. He has a buzz-cut style of haircut, is around 5 foot 8 inches tall, and has brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a dark maroon shirt, black shoes, and sweatpants with a black backpack. The report said the sexual assault happened on October 5th. Now, that was a pretty good description of the suspect. But it soon went off the rails. This is from hotair.com the next day. And this is pretty much how the description of the suspect was carried out after that. Late Monday afternoon, an unknown college-age man pushed the student, held her against a wall, and sexually assaulted her. According to the crime alert from the university, the attack was reported to campus police on Wednesday. Now, it went from that lengthy description, and I've seen two descriptions since then in numerous articles. This one here, which is really vague, to an unknown college-age male carrying a black backpack. The rest of the description's gone. I don't know where we went in this country to where actual facts are offensive. You can't say he was a black man. Someone might get their feelings hurt. No, you want to catch the asshole. And by doing that, or to do that, you provide an accurate description. Now, this is just the first part of it. It gets really weird after this. Okay, after this happened, uh, one anonymous student created a change.org petition which gathered more than 6,000 signatures in about 24 hours. The petition made a number of demands, some of which made sense: require ID access to university buildings and monitor security cameras. And others did not, leave stairwell doors open. But in general, the sense was that the campus needed to do something to make sure the assault like this one reported didn't happen again. Makes sense. Students are a little scared because this happened. The Cathedral of Learning is a big, like, office building that's classrooms. But they call it the cathedral because it looks like a cathedral. In a hallway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday. So, yeah, students are a little scared. Well, after that, the backlash started. Because the university said they were going to provide a greater police presence. Oh, no, can't have that. The backlash came in part from those concerned that increased police presence would threaten the safety of students of color. Some students shared these concerns at the protest, and others voiced their discontent. Clyde Wilson Pickett, the university's vice chancellor for equity, diversity, and inclusion, yes, somebody actually gets paid for that, told the Chronicle in a statement that his office is in the process of doing outreach across the university to better understand the concerns of students of color to ensure that they are heard and know that we are here for them. Now, I don't know where we went in this country where we have gotten to the point that the police are a bigger threat than the criminals. Now I understand people in minority communities have had their issues with the police. We've all seen the instances. George Floyd jumps to mind, to where I'm old enough to remember, what's his name out in California, the LA riots. Hell, I can't remember his name, but they were just wrong. I remember watching one in Chicago here about the time all the riots were happening a couple of years ago, where police just basically gunned a guy down in the street instead of physically apprehending him. I understand these are bad things, but somebody has to enforce the law in this country. And we task that with the police. Now, when they mess up, they need to be punished. But you don't need to put all law enforcement in one bag. You can't do it. We cannot live in a society with no law enforcement. That's called anarchy. And anybody that wants to live in that is probably a predator. Because in anarchy, all you have is predators and prey. So they have scrapped fixing this. Well, they haven't scrapped fixing it. They got rid of the police presence because the woke culture it said that minorities might be threatened by the extra police presence. Now, what happens when one of the minorities gets raped? Not to mention that it was a minority that performed the sexual assault. I'm sorry, but you got to call it what it is. And it gets even weirder, believe it or not. The next day, the man who started the petition, the guy that started the 6,000 signature petition, he's anonymous, and he's worried about the mob coming after him. Here's a statement from the man who started a petition. Hey, so I don't have much proof because I've chosen to remain anonymous, but I'm the one that made the petition, and I totally get everybody's frustration. I never ever wanted to advocate for more on-campus cops. When I said more unarmed security, I meant like people signing us in and out of the dorms, people watching cameras, etc. I very well know that not everyone, especially not sexual assault victims, can trust police. And that includes the Pitt police. But then again, that could have been worded better. I also want to say that I'm really sorry about all this. I did not inspire positive change on campus. I have very, very close friends that are sexual assault victims, so it's something that I really, really near on my heart. But if I could take it all back, I promise I would. The fact is, it seems like the more campus cops are being added because of something that I did makes me a monster. A monster. And I know that. I really shouldn't have been the one to make this petition. I'm an English major and a freshly 18-year-old. Probably the least qualified person in the bunch. I've never done anything like this in my entire life, and it blew up quicker than I could ever imagine. I've totally stepped down from the sit-in petition. After the protest, I went home for the weekend, and I don't think I'll come back to campus Monday. I'm considering an academic leave or transferring to another school if that's possible. Oh, and the article keeps going. I don't know which wokester got to this kid, but his reaction is pathetic. He did nothing wrong, and he's not a monster. The only monster in the scenario is the person who sexually assaulted the student in a stairwell. Bingo. This kid is scared that the mob is going to turn on him because he tried to help a sexual assault victim. People, we got to get this back. This is getting to be dangerous. Please, please teach your kids that if you keep your nose clean and don't break the law, you generally will not have to interact with the police. But if you do have to interact with the police, you get what you give. You give respect, usually you'll get respect in return. Having to deal with law enforcement is just part of living in a civilized society. God help us. This is our future leaders. It's a bad day, folks. We really, really, really need to get hold of this. But here's the last paragraph. I'll close with this. The Chronicle of Higher Education notes that some students are advocating for putting cameras in stairwells, which seems reasonable. However, this is an alternative to more police on campus. I suppose cameras could make someone less likely to take a risk knowing they'd be caught, but it would still be useful to have police around to potentially interrupt or intercede in future incidents. Running a campus without police won't work any better than running a city without them. The result in both cases is likely to be more criminal behavior. The worst part about this, that is a truer statement has never been made than that one right there. But these are college kids. These are kids who are supposed to be educated. This is what they're running up all these student loans for, so Biden and his Democrat buddies can forgive them. They're running up these student loans to get educated. But they're not getting educated, they're getting indoctrinated. And they're being taught that the woke mob rules, and if you stand against the woke mob, or you speak against the woke mob, or if you just speak about something that doesn't line up with their principles, the woke mob's coming after you. So, it is what it is. Hope y'all are a little more informed. I'm going to bounce around on stories like this. All different kinds of subjects as they catch my eye. But this is something you haven't seen on CNN or Fox News. And this is happening all over the country. So don't forget to get out to vote here in, what is it, 2.5, 3 weeks? I know which way I prefer you to vote, but you vote your conscience. However you feel you need to vote. Just vote. And if you would, like and subscribe. There'll be a whole lot more of these. And y'all have a nice day.